And I was talking to a bunch of businessmen who were all there in their suits and stripes and looking very posh, very paka. And they somehow were not so interested in me trying to show them books. So I just resorted to a different technique, and you can all try that out. I just said, Giriraj Maharaj Ke! And all of them went, Jai! And then they looked at each other and went like, what? What? You're a devotee also? Oh, you're a devotee also? You also? Oh, I guess I'm also a devotee. Okay, all right. So, it's like if you want to find out what's the native tongue of a person, you know how you find out? If you ask them, they may or may not tell you. But if you hit them or you poke them, then they usually start speaking in their native language. Have you noticed? So people may try to pretend to be so many things, but at some point the real colors come out. And they either say, this is fantastic, or they say, I'm a little busy right now, I need to go now. Huh? So, so we're discussing the Govardhan Leela tonight, and for that matter, we will hear from the kids what they got to say. In fact, Govardhan Leela is a lot about Krishna and his coward boyfriends. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 21st chapter. Text number 18. Thank you.
What's the first number again? 10:21:18.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hantaya Madri Rabala Haridasya Varyo Yadrama Krishna Charanas Parasha Pramodaha Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayostayoryat Pani Asuya Vasakanda Rakanda Mulai. Hanta, oh, I am this, Adri, hill, Abalaha, oh, friends. Haridasya Varya, the best among the servants of the Lord. Yat, because Rama Krishna Charana, of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and Balaram. Sparasha, by the touch. Pramodaha, jubilant. Manam, respect. Tanoti, offers. Saha, with. Goganayoho, the cows, calves, and coward boys. Tayoho, to them, Sri Krishna and Balaram. Yat, because. Paniya, with drinking water. Suyavasa, very soft grass. Kandara, caves. Kanda mulai, and edible roots. Translation. Of all the devotees, this Govardhan hill is the best. O my friends, this hill supplies Krishna and Balaram, along with their calves, cows, and coward friends, with all kinds of necessities. Water for drinking, very soft grass, caves, fruits, flowers, and vegetables. In this way, the hill offers respect to the Lord. Being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram, Govardhan Hill appears very jubilant. Purport. This translation is quoted from Srila Prabhupada's Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 18th chapter, text 34. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains the opulence of Govardhan Hill as follows. Paniya refers to the fragrant cool water from the Govardhan waterfalls, which Krishna and Balaram drink and use to wash their feet and mouths. Govardhan also offers other beverages, such as such as honey, mango juice, and pilu juice. Suya vasa indicates durva grass, used to make the religious offering of argya. You know what argya is? Somebody explain what is argya? When you offer water, yes. So why do you need durva grass for making argya? Any pujaris? You use the durva grass to actually purify and to sanctify that water that you're about to offer to the Lord. Govardhan also has grass that is fragrant, soft, and conducive to the strong growth of cows and increased production of milk. Thus, this grass is used for feeding the transcendental herds. Kandara refers to the calves where Krishna, Balaram, and their friends play, sit, and lie down. These calves give pleasure when the weather is too hot or too cold, or when it is raining. Govardhan also features soft roots for eating, jewels for ornamenting the body, flat places for sitting, and lamps and mirrors in the form of smooth stones, glistening water, and other natural substances. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadhati Swapadantikam Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripadamaham vande Sri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Maravam Si Chaitanyeshwaram Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhyevacha Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So here, in this verse, Govardhan is being glorified as the best of the devotees. Any idea why Govardhan is the best of the devotees? Okay. But there are so many great devotees of Krishna. Name me some great devotees of Krishna. Uddhava. Who else? Sudama, Krura. Arjuna. Gopis. Prahlad. Who else? Narad. So how can a hill be the best of the devotees? Doesn't seem to be that logical, does it? Huh? It is because that is being explained here by our Pandit. Because Govardhan is the best servant of Krishna because he's serving Krishna's devotees. Lord Shiva tells his wife Parvati, Tadiyanam Samarchanam, that if you are offering service to the devotees of the Lord, then that is more pleasing to the Lord than if you're directly serving Him. You heard a saying, love me, love my dog? Huh? Never disrespect your boss's dog, okay? Or else it may cost you dearly. In the same way, never ignore his wife or his kids, because that is not a proper form of etiquette. So, if you're proclaiming to be devotees of Krishna, that is being proven, that is being shown inasmuch as how we are devoted to Krishna's devotees. How much are we eager to serve them? How much are we eager to please them? How much are we eager to look after their well-being and their welfare? Well, Govardhan is Haridasya Varya. He's the greatest of all devotees because his whole existence is to provide service to the devotees of Krishna. So the Kaur boys, they are going every day to Govardhan to take the cows and calves out to pasture. Because the cows and calves, they're hungry for fresh grass. And when you have hills, there's all kinds of waterfalls, there's all kinds of shady spots, which are very cooling. There's fragrant aromatic breezes that are going through that hill. The hill creates also caves and valleys. It's a very adventurous place. For young boys, the only thing that matters in life is what? Play. You're still young at heart, right? So it came out quite naturally, right? The only thing that matters in life is play. Forget about sleep, forget about food, forget about homework, forget about everything else. It's all about play. Am I right or am I right? Please say yes. Come on, audience here. You got to back me up here, you know. I need some backup team here. It's all about play, and everything else is extra. Everything else is okay. It's the bonus track, but play is what it's all about. So every day, they come very early to Mother Yasoda's home, and they're very eager to meet Krishna and Balaram. They're happy to help dress him and ornament him, and they're so excited that they can't wait to take off, to go to Govardhan, to take the cows and calves, and they're putting them to pasture. They're showing them nice spots where they can graze, where they can drink water, where they can rest and get shade from the scorching heat of the summer. And what do? The boys The boys go into the forest, and they take different types of leaves and flowers and feathers of different birds that they find, and they decorate themselves with that. And they take different types of earth, and they paint themselves. You ever seen war paint? You know, they put all kinds of paints on themselves. It's fun, right? No? For boys, that's fun. And in this way, they're dressing up. And they're playing games. What kind of games are they playing? Hide and seek. Cops and robbers. They're doing wrestling, challenging each other for matches. They're carrying each other on their shoulder. They're doing all kinds of games. They're throwing things. They're striking fruits and all different types of games. And that's what's happening all day long. So, one day, Nanda Baba, Krishna's father, he said, today we will perform Indra Puja. We will do a great yajna, a great sacrifice for the pleasure of Indra. Indra is the king of heaven. He's also the one who is ruling over the rains. So because of that, people are offering him worship, they're offering him sacrifice. So little Krishna asks his father, Baba, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? What is the reason for this sacrifice? Please explain to me. Even if you think that I'm not fit because I'm not old enough to understand this, but something that's confidential should not be kept secret from a very close friend or relative. So even if you may think that I'm not yet capable of understanding all this, I'm your son. So please tell me, why are you doing this? And Nanda Maharaj told him that Indra is the king of heaven. He also is in charge of the rain. And thus, when the rain comes profusely, we as Vaishyas, we're very prosperous, we're very happy, our cows are flourishing. So therefore, every year we're offering this yajna. Then Krishna countered and said, what did he say? What kind of arguments did Krishna make? Give me some arguments. Come on, work with me, people. That came way later. What was the first argument that Krishna brought?
Why do we have to do it every year?
Why? Why would you have to do this?
Because if you do the highest activities, then...
No. What arguments did Krishna give why we should not do it? Indra is following Krishna's orders. Okay, that comes a little later.
Indra is giving rain to everybody.
Govardhan is the one who is giving the grass But don't you need the rain? Then what did Krishna say?
Talks about philosophy karma.
Karma mimamsa, which means that you do the right thing, you get the right reaction, the right result. But the rain is falling also on rocks. It's also falling on the ocean. So how good is this Indra at doing his job, right? If it's just meant to produce grass. So, and it's also raining where people are not pious. So basically, you just work and do your job right, and everything will be fine. You don't need to worry about pleasing any Indra or any other god like that. So Krishna gave all kinds of arguments. And Nanda Baba smiled, and he was not very convinced, but very much in love with his son. His Vatsalya Ras, his fatherly affection was very strong. So, just like fathers, they smile when their children try to argue with them, but they're usually not very convinced about the arguments that they're hearing. So Krishna gave all different types of arguments. But then, as you rightly pointed out, the main argument that came was, Govardhan is the one who's giving us everything. He's given us grass, he's given us water, he's given us shade, he's given us food, he's given us everything. So basically, we don't need this Indra. Let's worship Govardhan. I got a better idea. Let's go and worship Govardhan. Because Govardhan is the one who is actually making us so opulent and making us so happy. And believe it or not, Krishna is very persuasive. Nanda Baba said, we have been doing this for a very long time, for generations. Krishna said, there's so many things that have been going on for such a long time, but, it's not all about what's being done in the past. So let us go and worship Govardhan. And Nanda Baba got inspired. So they got everybody together, the coward men, the coward women, and they proceeded to Govardhan to perform a wonderful festival for the worship of Govardhan. And they did so by offering tremendous amounts of foodstuff. They would cook mountains of rice, mountains of dal, lentils, and vegetables, and soups, and rotis, chapatis, and kachoris, and samosas, and pakoras. What else did they cook? Come on, help me, people. Sweets. What kind of sweets? You all like rasgulla? Okay, rasgulla. Rasgulla was there. Gulab jamun. What else was there? Halwa, sandesh, rabri, shrikant, jalebi. Thank you. I got a good team here. I knew I can count on you guys. So, and they offered all of that to Govardhan. And right in front of their eyes, Govardhan ate everything. He assumed a gigantic form, and he ate everything. And then somehow, mysteriously, he gave it all back as prasad. That is pretty amazing, isn't it? Now, if you ever try to explain to a person who is not familiar with the tradition, why do you offer foodstuff to the Lord? And why is the foodstuff still there? Why doesn't he eat it? Were you ever in a situation where you try to explain this to somebody? Or even like to a child? And the child may argue and say, but it's still there, so he didn't eat it, right? And you can quote Shastra, and you can be philosophical, and you can give arguments, and they'll say, nah, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. So I just read a beautiful argument that I would like to share with you. When you're talking, for instance, to your child, and your child is asking you and giving you the same argument, you can tell your child, look around you. Everything that's here is provided by me, because I'm the one who bought it, and I'm the one who's providing it. Yet, if you take one of your small toys that I've bought and given to you, and you give me that toy with love, then I will accept it. I don't need that toy. I'm fine, but I'll accept it. And I'll hand you the toy back. So that's what happens when we're offering Krishna things with love. Krishna accepts our love. Krishna accepts our devotion.
In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhakta prayachati tadaham bhakti uparitam ashnami praitatmanaha yat karoshi yadashnashi yat juhoshi dadasiyat yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushvam arpanam. That if you offer me a leaf, a fruit, a flower, or water with love, I'll accept it. Whatever you do, whatever you offer, whatever you give away in charity, whatever you do as a sacrifice or work, do it as an offering for me. And in this way, it will become to your eternal credit and benefit. So, Krishna, in the form, he assumed personally that form of Giriraj, of Govardhan. And he accepted all the offerings. And he ate them. And then, miraculously, he manifested them again. And he gave them as prasad to the Brijbasis. And they had a wonderful festival, and they were circumambulating Govardhan with all their cows and calves. So today is the second biggest day of Govardhan Parikrama. The biggest day is Guru Purnima, the full moon day when Sanatana Goswami left this world. That's when the whole of Vraj goes on Govardhan Parikrama. But today, all night also, the Brijbasis are doing Govardhan Parikrama. So it is a very good day to do Govardhan Parikrama. So we're very fortunate that we have Govardhan here, right here. We brought Govardhan Hill right here, and we can circumambulate him, and we can offer our prayers, our gifts, our offerings to Krishna in that way, and he will accept them if we do that with love, with devotion. And then he will share his mercy, his kindness in the form of prasad with us. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri, he had been gifted with a Govardhan Shila and Kunjamala, little red garland of berries. And he kept those with himself. And he used to bathe that Govardhan Shila with his own tears. And he used to keep it on his head and on his heart. And after a while, he handed it as a gift to Raghunath Das Goswami. And in this way, he gave him shelter at Govardhan. And the Gunjamala represents Srimati Radharani. So he declared that you're a servant of Shri Radhika. And he gave him that as a special mercy, and also as an empowerment. So, Govardhan is very important in our tradition. But before we get into the tattva, I want to complete the story. So, the Brijbasis had the grandest festival. Everybody was really blissful. Everybody was really ecstatic. The Kaur boys, the Kaur girls, all the parents, the cows, the calves, except one person. Who is that one person who was not happy? Indra. Indra was not happy because he was expecting his yagya. He was expecting his puja. He was expecting his sacrifice. And not only did it not happen, but they went and they worshipped a hill. Now that was a little too much for his ego. So Indra got so upset, so angry, so furious that he ordered the Samvartaka clouds to attack Vraj and to rain down torrents of rain and inundate and devastate the entire Vrindavan area. Now you have to understand the Samvartaka clouds are not just some clouds. They're the clouds of devastation. They're the clouds that appear at the end of the universe before it's all over. And showers and showers of water were coming down. Torrents of rain were coming down. One drop of water was as big as the trunk of an elephant. How big is the trunk of an elephant? Pretty big, right? Pretty big. 3 feet, 4 feet, maybe 5 feet, depend on the size of the elephant. That was the size of one drop of water. So torrents, columns of rain were coming down. And the entire Vrindavan got just inundated. And it was hailstorms and very strong winds, and everything got cold and dark. And all the Brijbasis were suffering tremendously. The cows, the calves, the bulls, everybody was crying for help. They were crying, Krishna, Krishna, help us, please. So what did Krishna do? He picked up Govardhan Hill with the pinky of his left hand, the little finger of his left hand. He just picked up the entire Govardhan and he held it up and he told everybody, come here, come under Govardhan. And all the Brijbasis, all the cows, all the calves, everybody gathered together under Govardhan. And they stayed there for 7 days and 7 nights. Now, usually, that is a very unusual situation, because normally, when Krishna goes out to the pasture, then he's with the cowboys, right? But the gopis can't see him. And when he's at home, he's with Nanda Baba and Mother Yasoda and the gopis, and the cowboys can't see him because they have to go and do other things, or he's sleeping. But for 7 days and 7 nights, everybody was just very intently focused, very close proximity, as much focused as our kids here who are making musical support. So they were all fully focused on Krishna, completely absorbed in his beauty. They were mesmerized. And of course, depending on their mood, on their relationship, the rasa that they were in with Krishna, his friends, they were very proud. They were like, yeah, we're with him, like we're with this guy, Our Krishna, he's the strongest. And the elderly people, they were like, oh, he must be tired. He's working so hard. So the coward men, they were holding up their sticks to try to support the hill. Which is kind of funny if you think about it. But love makes you do stupid things sometimes. So, or things that appear a little ironic. So they were holding up with their sticks, and at one point Krishna just slightly lowered the hill, and they all really got scared with their sticks. Then Mother Yasoda thinks his arm must be hurting, he must be in great pain. So she ordered some of the coward boys go there and massage his arm, because he must be in great pain. And meanwhile, there's never been such a situation. The gopis can just brazenly bask in Krishna's beautiful glance. They can just offer showers of affectionate glances and loving exchanges with their beloved Lord, which is normally not possible. So Krishna, at some point, he starts looking at the gopis, and he becomes a little bit distracted. So he starts shaking, and everybody becomes really scared. What happened? And then Krishna catches it, but he sees that Balaram looked at him, and he saw what happened. And he feels shy. He feels a little remorseful. So because his elder brother had caught him in what was happening. So all these loving exchanges are happening 24/7 for 7 days, for an entire week. Nobody went home. Nobody ate. Nobody slept. Everybody was fully focused on Krishna. That's what's called samadhi. Have you ever heard of samadhi? Full absorption, complete absorption, one-pointed attention in the object of your worship. This is samadhi. Okay? Meanwhile, Indra is really getting desperate. He's really getting fed up because nothing seems to work. He had sent the Samvartaka clouds. There was torrents of rains. There was hail. There was storm. There was thunder. He could not even move a blade of grass on Govardhan Hill. He could not even bend one twig. It was not possible. Why? Because Krishna was holding up Govardhan, and Govardhan was so ecstatic, providing shelter, providing a wonderful environment for all the Brijbasis, that not only nothing touched the Brijbasis, but everything was just completely thwarted. All the attempts that Indra made were completely defeated. Not a drop of rain or water got inside. Everything was kept completely perfect. So Indra was so desperate, and he kept going and going and going. This was going on for 7 days and 7 nights. So it took him a while before he got the message that this is not going to work. At some point, Indra gave up. He realized that I cannot conquer this person. This person, this small little boy, must be the supreme. Because nobody can stop me. Nobody can stop my clouds. It still took him a week, but eventually he got there. Similar situations may happen to us sometimes, that we're kind of dog stubborn and we hold on and we say, no, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, till finally we get it that maybe that's not the way it's been done. So finally, he backed off. All the clouds disappeared, the sun came back out, everything evaporated, and Krishna told the Brijbasis to come out from under the hill, and he placed Govardhan back where he was originally. In all this time, naturally, Govardhan was completely ecstatic because Krishna was holding him up on his little pinky. And he was doing intimate service, most intimate service for Krishna and for all the Brijbasis. So Krishna is being glorified as Girivaradhari. So he's the one who is holding up Govardhan. And then Indra realized he had made a tremendous mistake. And later on he came to Krishna to beg for forgiveness. And he came with Surabhi, with the dearest cow. So Krishna likes Surabhi, and because Surabhi came, so Krishna said, okay, all right. Initially he didn't look at Indra. He just ignored him. But Surabhi came and she took pity on Indra, and she pleaded his case. So Krishna's heart softened. And he was sympathetic because Surabhi had pleaded on behalf of Indra. And Krishna forgave him. Indra took shelter. He showed his remorse. He apologized. Now, why is this pastime there in the Bhagavatam? Well, first of all, because it happened. But when the Lord does these things, why does he do it? Because he's teaching everybody through his devotees. He's teaching everybody through his devotees that you may be a good guy, you may be a good girl, you may be doing valuable, very important service. But if you disrespect other living entities, especially if you disrespect other devotees, or even you try to harm them, or you try to obstruct their service, then Krishna makes it his business to diminish your pride. He makes it his business to remove whatever it is that's between him and his devotee. So, this story of the lifting of Govardhan Hill is very sweet, it is very intimate, and we're very fortunate that we can meditate on this story, because in the pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went to Vrindavan, he personally went and visited. There is Haridev. Haridev is the presiding deity of Govardhan. And he was there glorifying Haridev and performing great kirtan. He was very joyous. He took bath in Manasi Ganga, which is just right next door from Haridev. And he personally performed Govardhan Parikrama. And he instructed his intimate devotees, like Rupa and Sanatan, to excavate the holy places that had been lost 4,500 years after Krishna. They had been lost. So he personally, again, discovered Radhakund and Shyamakund, who were just two little ponds, two little puddles in a rice field. And he told the Goswamis to reestablish these holy places of Vraj and make them accessible for everybody, because they had been covered over by time. Similar things happened time and time again. We are just 500 years after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and already certain things have become covered over just in this very short amount of time. Therefore, we are very grateful for the work of Srila Prabhupada and our previous acharyas, our previous teachers, who are keeping the tradition alive and who are keeping the access. They're giving us the access code. They're giving us entry into these pastimes and into these places. Because ordinarily, a lot of people will not be able to understand this. They may think this is either mythology or this fairy tale or this stuff you tell your grandkids. But did it really happen? Yes, it did. Yes, absolutely. And you can try it out. You can try it out. The next time you're in an assembly of some well-educated and well-dressed business people who are maybe not that much inclined to philosophy and spirituality, but you try it out. Giriraj Maharaj ki! And you will see. Everybody goes like, what happened? Why am I doing this? Because it's natural. It's a natural expression of the soul, of the heart, that I want to glorify Krishna. Krishna is wonderful. Krishna is amazing. He's doing amazing things. Krishna ate the forest fire. Krishna subdued Kaliya. Krishna killed Agasura, Bakasura, so many other demons. These are real events. And this is Nitya Lila. This is something that is happening continuously. It's not just, it happened once 5,000 years ago. Because Krishna is performing these pastimes as we speak. Because he is alive. He is real. And his pastimes are real. And to the degree that we cultivate our appreciating capacity and we develop our faith, not blind faith, but faith based on Shastra, faith based on real experience of Krishna's benevolence, of his grace, of his mercy. To that degree, Krishna will reveal his pastimes to us. He will lift the veil. He'll lift the curtain, and we can see what's going on. Right now, we're moving through the world of names, and mostly we see two-dimensional, three-dimensional, just a few random things moving around. But we cannot really see what's behind it. What's the intention? Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santak sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shyama sundaram achintya gunak swarupam govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. Unless our eyes are anointed with the salve of love of God, it is very difficult to appreciate Krishna and Krishna's pastimes. So these are some reflections on this pastime. I would also like to read, is there somebody there in the booth? Yes. From Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila, 14th chapter, text number 104 to 111. So you can just give the chapter view of the 14th chapter and go to text 104. till we're there, we can hear if there's any reflections or questions so far. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you for brilliantly explaining the Govardhan Lila. So Prabhu, I have a question regarding the Nitya Lila you are explaining. So we can easily understand that, Nitya Lila, for the devotees who are Nitya Siddhas, they're performing in the positive way. Like we can say that Krishna's friends, cowherd friends, they're always playing with Krishna. Krishna's cowherd, girlfriends, they're always dancing with Krishna. Similarly, his parental, devotees, they are always serving Krishna in parental love. But how about the devotees who are serving in an adverse manner, like Indra, like Lord Brahma, and like the Asuras? They are also bringing up joys. However, when those leelas happen, they are supposed to get liberated, Krishna Sayuja. But instead of that, will they also take part in another, Bhoma Leela, and they will perform that kind of activities there as well?
Krishna's devotees are happy to perform whatever service is required for Krishna's pleasure. So they are not dreading the task. Like you read the Bhagavatam, is Vritrasura a good guy or a bad guy? Both? I mean, his name is Vritra and Asura, right? So, supposed to be a bad guy, right? Supposed to be. But not really. Indra is the king of heaven. He's supposed to be a good guy, right? But right now, does he look good? Not really, right? Huh? Have you ever felt like that? That, hey, I'm a good guy, but maybe, maybe not, right? Huh? And sometimes everybody may say, you're the bad guy, but maybe, maybe not. So this shows to us that it's really about the intention. So the pure devotee's intention is to give pleasure to Krishna, and that means to be engaged in Krishna's service. Now, if it's required for Krishna's service to play that role, they're happy to play that role. Just like if you were to be in a drama. Have you ever acted in a drama? How many of you have acted in a drama? If not, you had a miserable childhood. I know we need engineers, but your homework will be, for the rest of this year, to try to figure out how to be part of a drama, okay? Don't get caught up in the drama, but it's a good experience. And the first thing that you will realize is that you're not in control, because there's a director, and he will say, you're the villain. And you say, me? The villain? I want to be the hero. I want to be popular. Well, sometimes villains are more popular than the heroes. So the devotees are happy to play whichever role is necessary for Krishna's service. Because ultimately, if it's for Krishna's service, it's all good. It's all positive. So they do not feel that, oh, this is not nice, and why this happens. And they're also not bored. Oh yeah, I did this before, now I'm going to put the rain down and nothing's going to happen, and no. Just like our friends here, they're working with the carpet here, and they know that the carpet is going to stay the way it is, but still they continue working on it, right? So why? Because it's play. In play, you're so absorbed in play that you're not rationalizing, you're not theorizing, you're not philosophizing. It's a big word. You're so absorbed in Leela that you're oblivious to what's going on. Just like sometimes a small child comes in here and holds 2 dolls and walks around and is so absorbed in play that everybody else is just part of the play. They're all just part of the play. You understand? So this whole idea of why should I do this or not does not even come to mind. They're so focused, they're so absorbed in Krishna and in giving pleasure to Krishna that everything is just subservient to that purpose. Yes, please. You got to put it on.
I am Neelakantan. In fact, I have read and I have been also told during Pravachanam by different specialists that Indra finally apologized to Lord Krishna, and he was responsible for doing the Govinda Pattabhishekam,
Yes.
I am told. And as you all are aware, in Ramayana, Rama has to wait for 14 years and then all assembled together to celebrate Rama's Pattabhishekam.
Yes. Thank
Same
you for
way,
sharing.
Here, Indra was responsible, I am told, that he joined hands with all people, good people. He may be a bad guy at that time. He was responsible for celebrating the Govinda Pattabhishekam in Govardhana place.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just for your
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yes, Indra and Surabi, they performed Abhishek of Krishna, and they bathed him, they glorified him, they made a wonderful celebration. Yes, we got one lady over here, and then, or Shrivas, you got the mic. And then back to Shrivas Pandit.
Prabhu, we often say that Govardhan is Krishna.
Yes.
And at the beginning of the lecture, you also said Govardhan is one of the best devotees. So is there an
Yes.
understanding between the two statements, how we understand this?
Yes, both are true. And it's not that I said, that's what the Bhagavatam says. So we're just speaking what's in the Bhagavatam. There's no contradiction. Krishna is the best of everything, right? So naturally, he must also be the best of the devotees. And how does he do that? In the form of Govardhan. Shiva's Pandit Prabhu?
No, I had no question.
No? Oh, I thought you had your hand up. Any other questions or comments? We still got some time here. Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Mukaravinda Prabhu.
Prabhu, thank you so much for such a nectarian class. One question, so today on the Govardhan Puja day, like the Vrajvasis celebrated the Govardhan, and then the 7 days started from there, or what is the significance of today's day, the Govardhan Puja?
Govardhan Puja?
Yeah, it's like today is the day the Vrajvasi performed the puja on the...
That's what I've been told, yes.
Okay.
But how the 7 days works, like, I think this is when the pastime started. This is when it actually happened. Krishna Prabhu?
Thank you, Prabhu, for very nice, amazing katha. I like the point where you said, we should not ignore the devotees and disrespect the devotees. I got reminded of Akrura, and when he was taking away Krishna and he didn't console the gopis, and in the purport, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions that he had to accept, that's why he had to accept ignoble position in Banaras because of Samantak Javel and everything. So I like that point. And I have a question. So the hill Govardhan is does all the hills have consciousness, or it's just Govardhan Hill?
Does all the hills?
Yeah, does all the hills have consciousness outside of Vrindavan, or it's just the Govardhan Hill?
We have information from Shastra that hills, I don't want to blow your mind, but that hills formerly used to have wings. Did you hear that? Yeah? But then Indra cut them off, right? With his thunderbolt. So then they got grounded. So originally everything is animate. This whole idea of everything is inanimate and I'm the only living thing in existence is a pretty ignorant and a pretty presumptuous position. Now, which hill is animate, which one is inanimate, that's beyond my purview to explain. I'd like to draw attention also to this part of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we're going to read a few verses here. If you could scroll down to the text. Can you give chapter view so you don't have to go next? So when Srila Prabhupada was in his last days in Vrindavan, this is tomorrow actually. Tomorrow is Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day. No, what am I saying? Today is Friday. Sorry, day after tomorrow. That's Sunday, yes. Excuse me. Srila Prabhupada requested the devotees to take him to Govardhan. He wanted to go to Govardhan to perform parikrama. And the devotees were really torn because Prabhupada was so weak. He was so emaciated. He had not eaten. He had not drunk anything. He was completely, his body was totally depleted. He was very frail, very, very frail health. Yet he gave the instructions, please take me to Govardhan. And how did he want to go to Govardhan? On a bullock cart. So, the disciples are supposed to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. At the same time, the disciples want to keep the spiritual master alive. So there was two groups of devotees. One group was saying we have to take him to Govardhan on a bullock cart because that is his instruction, and we have to get ready and we have to do it. And they started making the arrangements. And there was another group of devotees who said that we can't allow this to happen. He will die on the way. It is not possible for him to survive this journey. And by all means, we must persuade him, we must plead with him, somehow change his mind that this will not happen. So these two camps of devotees were arguing with each other. And meanwhile, Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, he was there, who was a godbrother of Srila Prabhupada, who was known to constantly chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And he was with Srila Prabhupada. And so the leader of one of the groups, he got Babaji Maharaj and he talked to him and he persuaded, he pleaded, he begged him to please speak to Prabhupada so he would change his mind, to not go to Govardhan parikrama on a bullock cart. So Babaji Maharaj went there and he just expressed the desire, and Srila Prabhupada, he complied. He said, okay, if that's your wish, if that's their wish, then I will not go. And the devotees were so torn because this back and forth was really bringing up a lot of emotions. And the devotees were saying to Srila Prabhupada that you're really drawing out the love from our hearts, and this is really intense, what's going on. And Srila Prabhupada simply smiled because the spiritual master is expert in reciprocating the loving affection of the devotees and to draw out their love and affection. So again, like in a drama, by the way, all this, what's happening, this is all part of the drama, okay? So don't get distracted. It's supposed to be like that. In a similar way in your own lives, there are so many factors that are beyond your control. Have you ever recognized that there's a few things in your life that are beyond your control? And you can either start to try to see them as demons and you can try to fight them or ignore them, or you can just see this is part of the drama. This is just part of the surroundings. And see, what is Krishna's message in this? What is Krishna trying to teach me here? What is Krishna doing here? So Prabhupada was simply drawing out the love, the affection, the devotion, showing the dedication of his disciples by staging this whole event. But his heartfelt desire was to go on Govardhan Parikrama, which happened. Eventually, the devotees did Vrindavan Parikrama and also went on Govardhan Parikrama and are still doing Govardhan Parikrama, because when we're going to these holy places, we're not going there on our own behalf. Our only entry ticket to these realms is by holding on to the dust of the lotus feet of our spiritual master. There is no other way we can get there. You can't buy a ticket to go to Vrindavan. because it's not a geographical location. It's not about being in a certain place. It's about entering into the mood of the Brijbasis, entering into their loving mood of complete absorption, of complete samadhi, complete dedication and service to Krishna. Any other questions, comments, or reflections before we start reading this text? Okay. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw all the Vaishnavas, he returned to partial external consciousness and spoke to Swarup Damodar. We need somebody to operate the screen. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Who has brought me here from Govardhan Hill? I was seeing Lord Krishna's pastimes, but now I cannot see them. Today I went from here to Govardhan Hill to find out if Krishna was tending his cows there. I saw Lord Krishna climbing Govardhan Hill and playing his flute, surrounded on all sides by grazing cows. Hearing the vibration of Krishna's flute, Srimati Radharani and all her gopi friends came there to meet him. They were all very nicely dressed. When Krishna and Srimati Radharani entered a cave together, the other gopis asked me to pick some flowers. Just then all of you made a tumultuous sound and carried me from there to this place. Why have you brought me here, causing me unnecessary pain? I had a chance to see Krishna's pastimes, but I could not see them." Saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to weep. When all the Vaishnavas saw the Lord's condition, they also wept. At that time, Paramananda Puri and Brahmananda Bharati arrived. Seeing them, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became somewhat respectful. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to complete external consciousness and immediately offered prayers to them. Then these two elderly gentlemen both embraced the Lord with loving affection. So here we see, this is from the Antya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was always absorbed in this mood of Vrindavan, and in his deep samadhi, in his deep meditation, he would enter into these pastimes, and then the devotees sometimes becoming alarmed, becoming afraid that he might leave this world, he may pass out, he may be completely gone. They were starting to chant kirtan, and they forcefully brought him back to external consciousness. So a lot of those pastimes in there, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, they're explained, the highest ecstasies of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was always absorbed in the mood of the gopis, how to give the utmost pleasure to Krishna. And we know that Srila Prabhupada personally is an eternal associate of the Lord, and he took great pleasure in hearing these stories, discussing these stories, and elaborating on these pastimes. So today on Govardhan Puja, we can worship Govardhan, who is Haridasya Varya, who is the greatest of all devotees. He's also Krishna himself. And we can beg Govardhan to please grant me a molecule of devotion to Krishna. Please grant me an iota of servitorship. Please grant me a fraction of dedication to Krishna. And Govardhan, because he's the best of all servants, he will do so. He will grant it. It is stated that if you have a Govardhan Shila, and you may not be able to worship it every day, because some days you may be traveling, some days you may be busy, but it says that if you just think favorably of Govardhan once a day, Giriraj will say, okay, that's fine, he thought of me, he's all right. He still loves me. He still loves me. So, Krishna is modest. He's not asking us for big things. If you ever want to have fun, look at the matrimonials, right? B-Tech is looking for C-Tech, This guy's looking for this, that girl is looking for that. It's really hilarious, right? people are not very modest and also not very real. But Krishna is very modest. He says, you just think of me once a day with love. That's okay. That's fine. Sanatana Goswami was in Vrindavan. He tied his deity to a tree branch with a strap of cloth. And he offered him bata. Just, big Vraj roti. He just had a little bit of dough that he made from Jamuna water and a bit of atta, a bit of wheat flour. And he made a big, flat roti, like a thick chapati. But he didn't have any utensils, no stove, no nothing. So how do you make that? You just throw it in the fire. So what happens when you throw it in the fire is outside it's burned. You ever made chapati? You ever burned a chapati? If not, this is your homework, okay? You got to try this. Outside it's burned and inside it's raw. And he would offer this to Madan Mohan. And so, after a few days of this, Krishna is saying it's not really digesting, it's not really going. So, can you give me some salt? Just a little bit of salt. Sanatana said, I'm a Baba. I have nothing. Today you're asking for salt. Tomorrow you're asking for sabji. Next day you're asking for sweets. I have given up everything for you, for your service. This is all I have. You have to make do. If this is going to work out between us, this is what it is. Madan Mohan, okay, fine. Later on, somebody came, built a temple, and other people came and, made arrangements. But Krishna was happy just to accept the love of Sanatana Goswami. Because that is what is really attracting Krishna. That is what is drawing Krishna. That is what is captivating Krishna's mind. So much so that he becomes subordinate to the love of his devotees. And that we see in the Govardhan Lila, that we see in all the pastimes of Krishna and his devotees in Vraj. That is the beauty of bhakti. We don't want to become God. We want to become more than God. In bhakti, you can actually control God through pure love. Of course, that is not the intention, that is not the motive of the devotee. But just to make the point that people are trying to compete with God, they're trying to be rivals, they're trying to usurp his position. But if you really want to capture Krishna, then follow in the footsteps of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Not that we try to be Nanda Baba or Mother Yasoda or the Kaur boys or the Kaur girls, but we try to enter into their mood, into their mindset, and to serve them, to assist them. And in this way, we can also gain realization and appreciation through that service. So today, all the Brijbasis are doing Govardhan Parikrama. So very soon we will also do Govardhan Parikrama here and have a joyous festival. It's a joyous celebration where everyone is chanting and dancing and celebrating the glorious pastime of Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill, protecting his devotees. So, when Krishna lifts Govardhan Hill, nobody can touch the Brijbasis. In a similar way, if we take shelter of the instructions of the spiritual master, then we are under the umbrella. We are under the protection of our Guru Varga, of our Guru Parampara, and nothing in this world will be able to touch you. So to the degree that we take these instructions to our heart and soul, and we dedicate our lives to this mission, to that degree, we will be untouchable. So thank you for your kind attention and for your audience participation. I'm very grateful. I had some good backup team here too. So any more questions or reflections? I believe we got time till 10 past, and then there's going to be Artik. And any other additional points? Yes, Prabhu? We got a mic coming your way.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the wonderful lecture. So I had a question about Sanatana Goswami having the relationship with Madan Mohan and also with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we see a different mood he has with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the pastime you mentioned with Sanatana Goswami and Madan Mohan, that he was more sort of exhibiting man or like, I cannot do this, you have to adjust with me, sort of. So how does that, but we don't see that kind of relationship with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, between Sanatana Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So,
because it's personalism, it is individual. It's not the same, you see? The mood that he exhibits with his deity and the mood that he exhibits with Lord Chaitanya is different. You can say Krishna is Krishna, right? No, but there's many different Krishnas. Just like the mood that you have towards the deity in the temple, the mood you have towards your deity at home, in your altar, is different. Same Krishna. But there is different flavors, right?
makes sense, Prabhu.
So, and that different variety of flavors brings out the rasa, it brings out the taste. It's not just homogeneous oneness, but Krishna is Rasaraj. He wants to enjoy all the rasas. He wants to taste all the different mellows. One time I was in San Francisco on the corner of Haight and Ashbury, and there was a sports car, and the license plate said Ben and Jerry. And I went up to the guy at the red light, and I showed him the books, and he said, I'm a Christian. And I said, God comes in many flavors. He's the owner of the Ben & Jerry ice cream store there. He owns 3 stores in San Francisco. So he started smiling. He gave me $50. And he came to the premiere of Prabhupada's movie showing in San Francisco with his family. And even though he's an evangelical Christian who studied seminary, even though he's a business owner, he studied seminary and he wants to become a preacher and go and spread the gospel in foreign lands. I have an appointment with him to tell him how it's being done, because he knows that I've been in a few places and done a few things that he'd like to do. So he wants to learn how to do it. So the point I'm making is that Krishna comes in many different flavors, and if we can somehow appreciate these different flavors of Krishna, also the other types of Krishnas that other devotees may worship and may consider as their Ishtadev, the more we will enter into this mood of Vrindavan, where everybody is worshiping Krishna in full dedication and full surrender. They all have their Krishna, but they're not belittling or neglecting other people's Krishna, because they know my Krishna, he's so amazing that he's attractive to everybody. And everyone is seeing Krishna in a unique way, in a very individual, in a very personal way. That is Krishna's wonderful, special prerogative. Thank you for illustrating this point. Thank you all for coming here. Thank you also for our online audience. I wish you a happy Govardhan Puja. Today is also Go Puja, where the cows are being worshipped by being offered wonderful grass and other treats. So Krishna is Govinda, the one who gives pleasure to the cows and to the senses. So I wish you a happy Govardhan Puja. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Giriraj Maharaj ki. Gaur Premanandi.
Hare Krishna. Now we will have Aarti ceremony for the main deities as well as for the Govardhan at the same time. After the Aarti is over, there will be the Amudrastakam and then Narsimhadev prayers and then Prasadam for everyone.
His Grace Navina Nirada Prabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Whole 1 hour, I was fully absorbed that I was in love. Thank you for sharing this wonderful pastime. Oh, you got it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jayo Radhe Jayo Krishna Jayo Vrindavana Radhe Jayo Krishna Jayo Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Moha Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Moha Shami Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu. Ghat Vanshi Vata Varshapana Jaha sab leela kaila Ramadi Jaya Jaya Dhenu Vatsada Shri Ramadi Jaya 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 Purnamasi Jaya Abhiranagari Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abhiranagari Jaya Jaya Gopishwara Vrindavana Jaya Jaya Krishna Sakha Bhakti Vidhara Jaya Jaya Krishna Sakha Bhakti Vidhara
Krishna Dasa kahe nam sankirtan. Dina Krishna Dasa kahe nam sankirtan. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Nath Madana
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री अभय चरण अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री भाषादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की गंगा माई जमुना माई की तुलसी महारानी की संवेत भक्तवृंद की ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories, Sri Guru Gauranga Jayat. Hare Krishna.
Where's Mahaprabhu? Right behind you. Do you need this?
You need two mics?
One for this thing and one for... Is there a mic? Prabhu. Stay still, Prabhu, 1 second. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Who's the? Okay. So, Hare Krishna. Start. Vishwa
Parameshwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Vrajamanam Lavamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Vrajamanam Yashodaviyolukaladhavamanam Paramishtamatyantato drutagopya Yashodaviyolukaladhavamanam Paramishtamatyantato drutagopya Udantam muhurnetram yugmavrijantam Karambojayugmena shataknetram Rudantam muhurnetram yugmavrijantam Karambojayugmena shataknetram Buhushwasakam patri rekhanta kantha Stitagraiva damodaram bhakti bhakti Buhushwasakam patri rekhanta kantha Stitagraiva damodaram bhakti bhaktam Tidrik swalila bhiranand kunde Swagosham nimachantamakyapayantam Tidrik swalila bhirananda kunde Swagosham nimachantam akyapayantam Pradiyeshitagneshu bhakterjitatvam Punah prematastam shatavrati vande
Adhiyeshi tadneshu bhaktirjitatam Naha prematastam shata vrativande Varam deva moksham namushvavadim va Achanyam vraneham vareshadapi Deva mokshvam namushvavadim va Chanyam praneham vareshadapi Idam teva purnatha gopal balam Sada me manasya virastam kimanye Idam teva purnatha gopal balam Sada me manasya virastam kimanye Idam te mukham bhojam atyantanilai Idam kuntalai snekaraktascha gopya Idam te mukham bhojam atyantanilai Idam kuntalai snekaraktascha gopya Chumbitam bimbarattadharam me Vanasya virastam malam lakshulabhaye Chumbitam bimbarattadharam me Vanasya virastam malam lakshulabhaye Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodukka Jalapti Matnam Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodukka Jalapti Matnam Kripa Drishti दृष्टिवृष्ट्याति दीनं बतानु ग्रहाणेषु मामज्ञमे दृशि दृश्या कृपा दृष्टिदृष्ट्याति दीनं बतानु ग्रहाणेषु मामज्ञामे दक्षिद्रेशा कुबेरात्मजौ बद्धं दैवयात्मत् मया मोचितौ भक्तिभाजौ कृतौ च कुबेरात्मजौ बद्धं दैवयाद्वत् मया मोचितौ भक्तिभाजौ कृतौ च तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वकामे प्रयच्छ मोक्षे ग्रहो मे स्थिदामोदरे तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वकामे प्रयच्छ मोक्षे ग्रहो मे स्थिदामोदरे नमस्ते स्तुदाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिदाम्ने त्वदीयोधरायात विश्वस्य दाम्ने नमस्ते स्तुदाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिदाम्ने त्वदीयोधरायाथ विश्वस्य दाम्ने नमो राधिकायै त्वदीया प्रियाय नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय नमो राधिकायै त्वदीया प्रियायै नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय नममीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले व्रजमानम् यशोदाभियो लोकलादवमानम् परमिष्टमत्यन्ततो धृतगोत्र Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Damodar, Radha Damodar, Radha Damodar, Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Thank you. What? Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Hare Krishna. Welcome you all to ISKCON of Silicon Valley on this very auspicious day of Govardhan Puja. We'll keep the announcements quick, short, and sweet so that you can enjoy prasadam, which is the next part of the program. Just a quick housekeeping announcement. If someone has a Toyota Camry that has a license plate number 8EIU390, please repark it. It appears to be blocking the other devotees. First, we'd like to thank His Grace Navina Nirada Prabhu for giving a wonderful class on the glories of Sri Govardhan. And we'd like to thank Shastra Saraprada, Sri Mahaprabhu Prabhu, and Niharika for the wonderful kirtans today. Such festivals like this are only possible with the help of behind the scenes, such a big team of devotees who plan for so many months together to put together these beautiful festivals. So as you saw, the Govardhan Hill today was made with halva, various beautiful sweets to replicate Govardhan. The deities were dressed very beautifully. So we would like to thank the festival team who put this beautiful festival together for us and for the deities. Today's prasadam was cooked under the guidance and lead of, by a huge team, under the guidance of Her Grace Hansapriya Mataji. Now, after prasadam prayers, prasadam is actually being served in to-go boxes, so feel free to grab one box for yourself before you leave. Hare Krishna. Sharira Vidyaja Jodendriya Taheka Jive Phele Vishaya Sagare Dharma Devi Vahi Lobho Moy Sudhamahi Take Chita Katina samsare. Krishna bada dayamol. Bhagavad Shri Mahaprasadam ki. Please come take prasadam. Hare Krishna.